The white European population is in decline and in retreat. That's a fact. Birth rates have fallen through the floor to the point where populations no longer replace themselves. This does not happen naturally as some or other consequence of evolution. The extinction of the whites is pre-planned and it's working well so far. If I could initiate a single policy, it would be to encourage the conception of as many indigenous European babies as possible, as soon as possible, before it really is too late. This is not about white supremacism. This is about mere survival. Even the family has been subverted. Family life, that most fundamental building block of civilised society, has been targeted for destruction for generations. More and more we are atomised as individuals. More and more people living lonely lives, nearer and nearer to that life in cells, gulled by virtual reality, of the sort preached by Curtis Yarvin and his ilk. Which brings us to where we are now, in the 21st century, of total surveillance, total control, central bank digital currencies, and of course, digital ID. I say again, it all comes from fear. The fear felt by the self-proclaimed elite in the presence of the rest of us. The runaway train of their fear-fueled ambitions is hurtling faster and faster. This is why, in the past handful of years, we've had a so-called pandemic, spiking economic hardship, so-called climate crisis as the justification for any and every restriction on our lives, and always, always war, up to and including nuclear war. The most frightened people of all have awarded themselves world-ending weapons. If you want to know who is the most frightened of the world and everyone in it, look to those who could deploy nuclear weapons. And so I say again, it's fear that we face and that most threatens us. Not our own fear, however justified, but the fear felt by those who would be rid of us. Those who have thought themselves special, many of them raised in the bubble of generational wealth and privilege that blinds them to any reality but that which they imagine for themselves. Those self-proclaimed elite have glimpsed the chance to be rid of us.
I've never seen a group of people more petrified of being a minority in anywhere or anything than my people, white people. And I don't understand it. Watch this.
You know what, Sarah Elizabeth? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, because we don't have to play games with you. We don't have to beat around the bush. You're just telling us like it is. You are a white supremacist and a Nazi who is openly speaking about eugenics and the need for you to have 6, I guess not children, but repopulation efforts because you're worried about the white race going extinct. I appreciate that openness. I appreciate that willingness to be transparent because at least I know I don't even have to waste my time talking to you or any of your repopulation efforts or your husband or whoever. You know, I just wish that our politicians would behave in the same way because we're still playing this ridiculous game of volleyball that never ends of like, you're a racist. No, I'm not. I have a black friend. Like, you know what I mean? It's like back and forth and back and forth. And it's ridiculous. So, you know what? If you are a Trump supporter, if you think what's going on in this country where people are kidnapping children and then sending them out to another state, never to see their parents again is a good thing. If you are good with people being pew-pewed in the middle of your street, just be more like Sarah Elizabeth. You know, the girl is unafraid to say exactly what she is. A Nazi.
Yeah, I mean, at least she's open about it, but ew. The white race isn't going anywhere, folks. Humanity, our species, is getting browner. And it will continue to get browner. But there will always be pockets of people like you that feel this need to preserve some whiteness out there. Just like there are going to be black people that feel some need to preserve some blackness, or people from this ethnic group or that ethnic group that are going to feel the need to preserve it. But as a species, we are all getting a little bit more down the line of the middle of the color spectrum than on either of the far sides. I've had people tell me things like, when I talk about race relations, I've had people say, what does it feel like to be a traitor to your race? What race would that be? Well, you're white. Okay. But what race would that be? See, I'm white, but I'm also 27% Sicilian, according to my DNA results. I have a shit ton of bloodlines from Scotland and the UK generally. But yeah, I'm also 27% Sicilian. Do you know the history of Sicily? I mean, if you knew the history of Sicily and you knew that I was 27% Sicilian, would you still put me in a classification as white? I mean, that's how I classify myself, because that's how I present. That's what are you? I'm fucking white. But you're trying to preserve some white bloodline. You want to know what you're trying to preserve? The visuals of whiteness. Now, how many people on this planet are purely back to just this one line anymore? Okay, so you knocked out a shit ton of kids that are all white because you want to preserve the white race. And you think none of them are going to go off and have a partner that's not pure white? Nobody in that group's going to have a Hispanic or a Latino or an Asian or an African American partner? Nobody? Maybe not. Who knows? Then again, maybe. The white race is going extinct. No, it's not. You're fucking paranoid over nothing. Or is it that you're paranoid that you're going to be a minority and then people are going to treat you the way you treated them when they were the minority? Is that it?